bad. So I knew a lot of people that got some amazing deals. Carol had the best apartment, you had the A. So that had the best view, that was on the other side. But this kind of transitioned the feeling and the temperament, because what people came in were something I never really knew. The Sephardics, the Syrians, they came in and they were very, very clannish. And it was really like two different worlds. And I never really understood all the distinctions between Ashkenazi, which we are basically, and then the Syrians, the Sephardim. So it became a very interesting thing. And then a lot of people were leaving to go up to Boca, and a lot of people were leaving to move up to Porta Vida. But that came in the late 90s. Next slide. So here's the courtyard, the townhomes at Turnberry. And this woman, I don't know who knew Claudine Smurfit, they took 4 lots and built one huge 12,000 square foot house. And she no longer lives there, but all of these townhomes, these are on the Intracoastal, and these are landlocked. So they built this 2 were my models, and then they built this here, and then that, and then you could see the Marina Tower sticking out here. So now this is more like 1990. Here's One Turnberry Place, which was the beginning of the commercial properties for your business, but very prestigious. It had the restaurant, it had the beauty salon, I believe it's La Estetica, it still might be there, and all the brokerage houses. So for me, it was great, because when we needed money from a client, they would say, oh, hold on, honey. They'd pick up the phone and they'd call up to the 6th floor, and the money was wired. They didn't have to do anything. So they didn't feel like they were spending money. It was really great. We are sitting at the double door, sitting under the sign that says Harry and Edith Gampel. And Harry and Edith Gampel were his offices. He was the developer. If you know the Presidential and Hollywood Circle in Hollywood, and you know the V, which was Classic Residence by Hyatt, the land that the V is on was Harry's land, because Harry was connected in some ways with Sofa when they were selling pieces of land, and developers, they play golf. They go, how would you like this site? They go, okay, I'll take that one. And so this became a really big thing. For me, I really hated this building because at Christmas time, when you wanted to get out of the parking lot of the building, you had that mall traffic, and it could take you at least 20 minutes or so just to get on the ring road of the perimeter. Next slide. Huh? I think so. That's the last one? Thank you so much, Gabby. So, Gail asked a good question, and I really don't have the answer. All I know is that in the beginning, they called the development Aventura. Where the name came from, I really don't know. But when it came to becoming a city in 1995, it became Aventura. So I will look it up. I'm curious now, because that's a really big question.
I know the answer.
You know the answer?
Yeah, when Sofa was developing it,
We have the answer.
he had a partner, and they said to each other, beginning an adventure.
Wow.
And that's
Okay,
where it came
I
from.
could see that. That really
That
makes
works.
sense. But, I came in 1972 and moved here permanently in 74. So, I mean, I've seen so much development. When I did the presentation at the V, there were so many people that had something to add to the story, because it's quite a story that people came here, they didn't know about it. It was promoted, like Mark and I were in Mexico City, and Williams Island, the developers of Williams Island followed in Don Sofer's footsteps. they took the original, I think it started with the 2000 building, 2000 Island Boulevard, then 7000 Island Boulevard, then Aquilina. They actually shipped down a model of the tower. And in Mexico City, at the Intercontinental, which is El Presidente, the hotel, they took an office and they sold many apartments. And the clients that I had, it's very interesting, again Sephardic, and what they would do, which is something I never saw. When I was little, I remember my family having what they called a family circle. And they would, meet with all the relatives and blah, blah, blah. But there's families that I have been involved with that as they came over to this country, they would pool their money together and buy property. Well, in Mexico City, the Sephardic clients that I had, they would meet once a week. I'll never forget this. They would meet once a week for dinner at the mamacita's casa, the house of their mother. But the mother was gone. She must have died like 10 or 15 years before, but they kept the apartment, the large apartments, with all the cooks and the maids, everything, and they'd have dinner every Wednesday night. The brothers would come here and buy 5, 6 apartments. And the brothers would take the best ones, and seriously, I know how chauvinistic this was. The sisters, you know what, you take this one, you have this one. You want this one, or you give it to her. You decide. And this is what they did. And they started all coming, and today, their children are here. And we have a lot of children. I don't know if anybody lives in Atlantic 3 at the Point. Ronnie, you're in 1, right? Mm-hmm. Well, in Atlantic 3 at the Point, many of these children bought and they come here, the kids are in school, they come with their housekeepers and the nannies. We have it at Williams Island, tremendous influx. And they really live in apartments rather than houses. So again, you could see how we morphed into a different community. Our temple, very interesting, because the chapel across the hall from this, if you look at it, if you pop your head in, it says Eugene and Hilda Leibowitz. Eugene and Hilda Leibowitz were Harry Sofer's original partners from Pittsburgh. And the money originally came from the Monroeville Mall. What am I reading? Oh, here. Okay, the city name from the Spanish word for adventure.
That's right.
That's what I was gonna say.
So, thank you. You see, it pays to bring your bodyguard here. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, the original Harry Sofer, Eugene Leibowitz, their kids got involved. Sofer was Don, and on the side of the Leibowitzes, it was the Masons. They split up, and like it said in the presentation, Don Sofer really took the reins, and he had a vision. And some of you know or don't know that they originally, when they were building Turnberry, they sold it in the south of France. And Princess Caroline had an apartment. Suzanne Plachette had an apartment. He's the one that started these celebrities. That's of course why he wanted me to live there. But Carol Pumpkin was already there. So in the Marina Tower, it was supposed to be Alan and Jeanette King and Lucille Ball. And Lucille Ball was at Turnberry a few times. Whether that was the real deal or it was temporary for promotion, it doesn't matter. But Williams Island copied because they had Sophia Loren. But when she found out I was moving in, she had to go. No pasta for me, too many carbs. But it's interesting because we shifted. Now, as you know, we have a tremendous influx of Argentinian people that came to our temple because of, thank God, our Rabbi Guido Cohen. And it's really changed because it's become really younger, with the Tauber School being very successful. We are really, all of us here in this room are being honored because this is known as a very, very successful program, and we keep hearing more and more about it. And, you know, as far as all of you, I mean, you know, Carol and I are so excited about ND and Mark, because you all came in and everybody basically said, oh, you know, I'm not really into the art, but my girlfriend is coming. Well, hi, we don't play Mahjong on Wednesday, well, I'll come. And you've really stepped up and allowed yourselves to tap into your own creative processes, and people are talking about it. It's on social media. Every time we have a workshop, I put the pictures, and people talk to me from all over. You know, somebody wrote to me from, I don't know where, Chicago, Illinois. My mother's moving down. She lost my father. Do you think this would work? I said, yeah, bring her, please. You know, because the lights have really wanted socialization for seniors. And the To Love to Light program was exactly where this was. And we were having dinner, and I announced to them, they were my clients, I announced to them I'm closing my office, and I'm donating all the furniture, which is scattered around the temple, to the temples, because I always wanted to do the artist studio workshops. And the lights, they start laughing, you know, what are you laughing for? Well, we're giving money for programs just like that. So they're thrilled, and we're planning so many things. And I believe Carol moved the November 22nd date to March 7th, which is really good because there's so much chaos going on here at the temple with the construction that we're sort of like an orphan program. And we are going to have, close that door, we are going to have a very serious meeting, because we've proven ourselves and we really should have a designated area. And I really want to acknowledge all of you, because everybody was looking forward to doing the tote bags with the paint. And they moved all our cabinets, all our storage. Thanks to Dee and Carol, they came early and they found all of the materials that we need. So I guess you've told them, or you're going to tell them?
2 weeks tote bags.
2 weeks tote bags. So if you see my friend Della, tell her the tote bags, because everybody's looking forward to it. And also Doris, if you would tell Rita, you know, that we're going to paint. You know, I do understand. You know, but I heard she's fooling around with somebody else, so that's another story. So, you know, that's why she's always late to every class. You know, this woman gets around. So, if you have any questions or you want to add something, please.
I had always heard that there was a polo field up here.
There was.
What year was that?
That was probably in the 60s. And it probably was demolished sometime when they started filling the land.
No, but they held the polo where the point is.
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
There's a photo in the
You hear that
Herald.
the Polo Grounds was where the waterways is.
What genius designed the roadways from Collins Avenue to Mystic Point, where you have to go 2 miles to do a quarter of a mile?
I know.
What genius did that? Because it's absolutely
Wait,
ridiculous.
he's calling me.
His Don Sofa.
Well, the thing was, all you have to do is from Collins Avenue, make a right turn and you're there. But no, you've got to go 2 miles all the way around.
Actually, I don't have an answer to that. I never understood why that was done that way. But, you know,
Well, when it was in construction,
1983.
when it was in construction, surely someone must have mentioned it.
Shirley had nothing to do with it.
Shirley. That's a good question, because, you know, if you live, you know, like, let's say you live, it's called the Bay Club. If you live in the Bay Club, The Bay Club is right on the causeway,
Okay.
okay? And when you get on Biscayne Boulevard and you get right off the exit, the Bay Club is there.
Oh,
So
yes,
now
I
if you
know.
live in the Bay Club, you have to, only can go right, you really have to go all the way around, so.
They could have made a tunnel, they could have made a bridge, they could have done.
Well, maybe you should become an engineer.
Maybe I
Because nobody ever, I've never heard anybody question it, but it doesn't make sense. It's an
You've
inconvenience.
got 2 miles to do a quarter of a mile.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
Villa Dorada.
Huh?
Who built the Villa Dorada?
Villa Dorada.
Oh, that was Little Arlen Realty. And interesting, Villa Dorado, I had a friend that I went to Southampton College with, and her parents bought in Villa Dorado. And I remember going there. And Villa Dorado is 3 stories. So the first 2 stories are somebody's townhouse. But the 3rd story is what they call a villa. And it was all on 1 floor. This girl's parents had a villa. So that was interesting. And a lot of people and several of my clients also started in Villa Dorado. And they were probably young couples in their late 30s, early 40s. And then they kept moving as they kept building. And then when they announced Turnberry, that was like, well, what is that? And they had models at the country club, and it's like, ooh la la, and all these people, and you have your yacht there. Well, I don't have a yacht, but you have your yacht, you have the country club, you have the tennis, you have the spa. Then the beach club came, where the beach club today is Turnberry Ocean Club. But the thing is that it was unheard of. And so they did go to the south of France to market it because it was the only place where you could have these amenities. My very dear friend, who lives in Monte Carlo today, her father was an investor in Turnberry. He bought 20 apartments. And when I moved into mine on the 16th floor, the building, Turnberry Towers, all 3 towers, North Tower, South Tower, and Turnberry Towers are built like a Z. And so you get off the elevator, you have one wing on one side and another wing on another side. Well, on my floor, on the left eastern side tower, is the 3-bedroom, the J unit, which was 3 bedrooms. And this man, her father, was very wealthy. He took out all the walls and he made it a 1-bedroom apartment. And on my side, next to me, was the C unit, the only 1-bedroom on the floor, and that was their guest house. So in other words, when I moved in, I used to see this man and woman in the hallway, walking back and forth all day long, and I could never figure it out. And then my friend Yasmin came down, and she was with this couple, and I go, who are these people? She goes, they're my parents' butler and housekeeper, and they take care of the 2 apartments and the 3 cabanas that they have downstairs, because her parents were absolutely crazy. No kids, they only had the daughter and the son. No kids could stay with them, no guests could stay with them, so they stayed in the guest apartment. And as far as the cabanas were concerned, they put 2 together to make 1, and a 3rd one so their kids could have it. They did not want their kids, it was very weird. But the 20 apartments that he had, he kept for many, many years. And he did that because when they were building Turnberry originally, if you remember, the English pound got devalued. So he wanted to take his money. He was a Holocaust survivor, and he was always paranoid that his fortune that he made would be taken away. So he brought the money to Miami, and he worked the deal out with Sofer and kept 20 units. And many people rented. It was called Berliner Corporation. And he also bought, I think, 90 apartments in Biscayne Cove and rented them out until he died like 5-6 years ago, and probably 10 years ago he eliminated, he sold everything. And his wife, survivor, the widow, she lives in Monte Carlo, and my friend went to be with her mother, she divorced. So there's a lot of these interesting stories and interesting people. I don't know if you ever heard of the Resnick family.
Yes.
They came from the Catskills, and they were poor chicken farmers. And they developed the rabbit ears, the antennas for the TV sets. So in the very early 50s, they became very, very, very affluent, and they bought apartments. And again, like this other couple, Marcia and Harry, may they rest in peace, they bought 2 apartments on the floor. So the kids, when they came, they were in one end and another. So, you know, it was a way of living that, you know, was very high end. And then, of course, the Monaco dining room, which was on the yacht club, that was like a place to be seen. And that was designed, so what you did, a flight of steps, very beautiful steps with fabulous artwork, gorgeous millwork, amazing millwork. So when you got to the top of the steps, you were standing at a point in the Monaco dining room it went down in 2 tiers so everybody could see. And you would wear your finery, the women dressed, it was the time of dynasty. And they wore their beautiful silk blouses with the, you know, the shoulder pads, and their hair was done like Crystal Carrington. And we would laugh,